This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Alyssa's now with us here. Alyssa, I let Drew have the last boudin ball here at Walk-On's Sports Bistro in Fayetteville, where they're having their grand opening. Do you do boudin balls?
You know, I've never had one, believe it or not.
You're going to have to try.
And I love Cajun Creole food. I love it. But I've never had a boudin ball.
Well, you're going to have to be over here and figure that out at some point soon.
I almost came down to see you guys, but I've got a little bit of a stuffy nose, so I didn't want to get anyone any sick. But I need to come down to Walk-On now that it's open down the street.
Darn, it would have been good to see in person here.
Yeah, it would.
I saw you at the press box on Saturday. That was at halftime. And what were your thoughts on Arkansas beating Cincy? I mean, it was a tight game. It felt like Cincinnati might have I don't say given away, but lost out on about 21 points or so. But what was your take?
Yeah, I'm just glad they got a win, and I think it was good to see them in action for the first time, truly, to kind of see what we were going to get in this 2022 season. And I think you're right. I don't think Cincinnati gave the game away, but I really, truly think in this first week of college football, top to bottom, not just with Arkansas and Cincinnati, it's about the team that makes the fewest number of mistakes that's going to win. And Arkansas might have gotten lucky. I think that Ben Bryant missed some of his receivers early. They were wide open. That was helpful. You had a kicker who missed a couple field goals early. And then Arkansas executed when they needed to, got some turnovers when they needed to. I mean, that Dwight McLaughlin interception was huge. Really want to see more from the offense. Love that Rocket Sanders had 100 yards. Love that Trey Knox had 2 touchdowns. But I was really wanting to see some more deep shots from KJ, mix it up a little bit. And Sam said yesterday they were there. He just didn't throw the ball. So we're going to see this team grow. Trey Knox said it in the post-game press conference. Who we are week 1 is not who we're going to be at the end of the season. You just now look at the tape and make a big jump between game 1 and game 2.
Well, the deep ball was a major portion of the Arkansas offense last year. Maybe that was because of Traylon Burks, but, I mean, you saw Warren Thompson get open at times deep, same with Davion and Tyson Morris. It's interesting because, I mean, the KJ's had a chance to develop some on-field relationship with Jaden Hazelwood more so than Matt Landers. But why do you think he might not have, if there were open receivers or maybe a step where he could throw it deep? Remember, the numbers showed he was awfully accurate on deep balls last year. Maybe some of that was Traylon Burks' catch radius. Why do you think he might have held on to him?
Possibly, but I also don't think that KJ isn't capable. We've seen him do it. We know he can. But go back to what Kendall Briles said early in fall camp about Matt Landers. He's sneaky fast, and they were still trying to get that rhythm. That we've overthrown him a lot because you don't think he's running as fast as he's running. So we underthrow him, and then we'll overthrow him. So I still think they're trying to build that chemistry. If Matt Landers becomes that deep threat because of his speed, that chemistry is still being built, and that rhythm is still being built. And then after that, that's for KJ to kind of answer. I don't know if he just didn't feel comfortable throwing the ball or he just, didn't have the read right and he checked down to somebody else. But it'll be interesting to see how that develops, especially next week.
Do we make too much of week 1? I mean, we can make too much of what happened last year, week 1 against Rice. That was Rice. We don't know how good Cincinnati is. We can just sort of guess based upon what we saw on Saturday, and we'll see what happens in the future on their on their schedule. But do we make too much of week 1 because we can make all kinds of statements about this and that, and who knows what happens this next weekend?
Yeah, I think we always kind of instinctively make too much, even though we say, "Oh, this is just week 1. Don't think too much into it." Then that's exactly what we end up doing. It's because it's all we've seen, and highs and lows. And who knows what Texas came in last year ranked 15th in the country, and then everyone was like, "Well, what is Texas?" We have no idea. At the end of the day, you win the game that you're playing, and you move on. And Sam Pittman said that He goes, I don't want to play him again. We're 1-0. That was exhausting. I'm glad it's over. And so at the end of the day, you win the ball game, and that's all that matters. At the end of the day, when they're looking at playoff teams and putting teams in bowl games, and you move on. So.
You're exactly right, Alyssa. Just got to take it one day at a time, one game at a time. It's one of the most overused coaching cliches, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing all of us have to do. We can only attack the today while we're here. Can't constantly be concentrated on everything else. And in today's world, in the narrative, especially around college athletes of NIL, of getting as much as I can for myself, this whole idea that kids nowadays are just so selfish. I saw you retweet Cam Little yesterday and his announcement. Could you tell our listeners exactly what Cam's doing and how great it is?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sure those who are kind of in the know last year that for every kick that he had, he was donating $10 to the Down Syndrome Connection of Northwest Arkansas. And he has now upped that donation to $20. So he would encourage people to match, I'm donating $20, match it. And they were able to raise a ton of money over there. And I was able to sit down with one of their directors, Lindsay, and one of their ambassadors for Down Syndrome Connections, Liam, last year and talk to them about, what this impact is. And, Lindsay was telling me that, this has brought such a great light to their organization that a lot of people didn't know existed if you don't know someone with Down syndrome here in the area. And people are now connecting to their organization because of Cam Little and his commitment to help grow this organization in a cause that's really near and dear to his heart. His cousin has Down syndrome. I mean, Lindsay told me after the Texas A&M game, there is a Arkansas fan from Alabama who just anonymously donated $1,000 because of the story we were able to share. So really cool, but he's doing it again. $20 per made field goal this year. Had one against Cincinnati, so that was good. But it's just really cool that Cam did this on his own. And you love that, and you love that relationship continues to grow.
Oh, you definitely do. It brings such a great light into so much greatness for the community and for the natural state. Now, Alyssa, for something that does a lot of good stuff, I have to ask, because it does damage to both our reputation and your reputation. Who allowed Ty Richardson to get on y'all's set with a cowboy hat and that shirt?
Oh my goodness! No, don't hate on that poor boy putting that cowboy hat on.
Oh, I'm hating it. I'm hating on it, Alyssa. It made me look bad.
I saw it. I was not working on Sunday, and I get sent that picture, and I texted him. I was like, that hat is amazing. You need to wear it every single time. And he said, I didn't start with it, but I pulled it out. So you know what? You rock that cowboy hat, Ty Richardson.
Image consultants,
Alyssa, we need
Alyssa.
to show professionalism. I'm a professional.
You guys are supposed to know what looks good on television. That does not look good on television, nor does it look good on Ty. On both things.
It's maybe a little too big, but you know what? I'm going to let him do what he wants. Fine.
All right.
Ty's just going to be Ty. That's basically what
Ty gonna Ty.
Yeah.
It's basically what it comes down to.
That hair is getting pretty long too now.
Yeah, and I just have envy.
That's why he wears a cowboy hat, because he says it makes his hair look good.
I'm basically just very envious about it. Anyway, Alyssa, what do you think about Arkansas, South Carolina on Saturdays? I haven't looked at the line. I guess I should.
Yeah.
You think there's an edge at quarterback for Arkansas? Spencer Rattler's got a really good record as a starter, even though he left Oklahoma.
He does, and South Carolina able to beat Georgia State last week. I think he threw 2 interceptions last week. It'll be interesting to see how our secondary, which without Jalen Catalon, most likely. Don't know about Miles Slusher, but you can maybe just go ahead and assume he might not play next week too. What they do to game plan against him. I take KJ just for comfortability. You're at home. You know your wide receivers a lot better than I think Mr. Rattler knows his. So I think that's the edge. One thing that Sam Pittman was asked about and continued to talk about was just the beamer ball and special teams. And they cannot let special teams for South Carolina beat them. He was the special teams coordinator with Sam Pittman a little bit for a few years at Georgia. Sam Pittman is very well aware of what Shane Beamer wants to do in that department. And so if there is going to be a thing that truly defines this game, it might be special teams. And so I think that's going to be a lot of fun to see what we get out of both of those teams coming up on Saturday.
I mean, look at what special teams meant in North Carolina State, East Carolina,
hey,
LSU, Florida
State. You don't have to look
State.
very farther than my alma mater, my man. Block extra point. That's all I'm saying.
What was that last minute like for you as a fan?
Oh my gosh, I was jumping. I was freaking out. And then they blocked the extra point, and I was jumping up and down on my couch. That was me.
Alyssa, you're a Florida State fan because you're an alumnus, but you cover Arkansas. So, but you can feel one way or the other about the team that you cover, right? You're supposed to look at it from an unbiased perspective. It's difficult to do that in a state that's so heavily bent towards one team. Do you just throw off the journalist hat when you're watching a Florida State game and you're just Alyssa the fan?
I have to. Absolutely, I have to. I mean, I spent 4 great years at that school. Have been a Florida State fan since I enrolled, and so I am 100% all the way fan when I'm watching those games. And I hope Arkansas fans can understand that I cheer for my alma mater just like people cheer for Arkansas. And when I work, it's a little bit different, and hopefully they can kind of see the difference. But the passion that I have for my alma mater and the way that I watch them is also the passion that I have for covering the Razorbacks, so I hope people can see that too.
Well, it's always good talking with you, Alyssa. I hope you feel better and that you're able to get down to walk-ons and have some of these boudin balls at some point. And find yourself a better-tasting cold medicine.
Too, I need to come get.
See? And they did beignets. They did beignets and coffee in the morning. I don't know if they'll do breakfast here, but they can make the beignets.
I love it.
That's Alyssa Orange. Let's do it again next week, okay?
Always.
Always
Appreciate
fun
it,
talking with Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation. And, yeah, she gave Ty a little bit of an out there. If Alyssa said it worked on air, then I guess it worked on air.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. BetOnline, where the game starts.